Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Fabric Coffee session at Microsoft Fabric Cafe. Uh, just let me. Cool. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from anywhere in the world that you are watching us. I'm Mehrdad Abdollahi. I'm super excited for the session of today that I'm going to act as both moderator, host, and actually the speaker. So it's a pleasure to be part of this journey. So let's kick it off. Some comments. Hi everyone from LinkedIn. Hey, Anishka. Hi. You're welcome. Welcome. So, yeah, let me just share my screen and share my slides I'm in, and we can just kick it off. I know in the meantime, you can just say hi, and let's wait for others to join as well. And, in the meantime, you can just grab your coffee and let's get ready for today's session. I'm gonna just share my slides. Today, February 1st of 2025, the 22nd Fabric Coffee session at Microsoft Fabric Cafe. Uh, in the Microsoft Learn community, the richest place maybe for learning and sharing your experiences, for connecting to your learn experts. And it is a tech community. You can find thousands of topics to learn about, right? And we are all talking about Microsoft technologies, Microsoft in the Microsoft landscape actually. There are some learning rooms that you can always join to find your experts and for your peers. And of course, you can get their support from them if you have any question. If you would like to share your experience, whatever that you have learned from working with Microsoft technologies. And there's a short actually link here in order to join one of those learning rooms. There are maybe tens of learning rooms that you can just choose based on your interest. And we are at Microsoft Fabric Cafe, a Microsoft Learn community, a learning room in the Microsoft Learn, and which we are focusing on Microsoft Fabric, and we provide learning support to Fabric users in all levels, a forum for everyone to learn, share, and grow skills together. In the bottom, we've got our social links, and YouTube, Microsoft Fabric Cafe, and you can just watch all the recorded sessions, the past sessions that we had at our cafe, as well as the upcoming sessions and videos that are going to be uploaded there. And the QR code is going to land you on our LinkedIn page, where we do our announcement and updates regarding Microsoft Fabric and the community, and also a short link for connecting, actually joining the learning room directly to Microsoft Fabric Cafe. It is going to be pre-selected, and you're gonna just join the learning room. There's a code of conduct when we attend the live sessions. Thanks everyone for adhering to these code of conduct. I will leave them on the screen for a sec, and you can just have a look at them, like be respectful, collaborative, embrace diversity that everyone is going to do, and stay professional, act with integrity, and use responsibly, and report issues if you have seen any. For the past month in January, we had two successful sessions with Raid and Kevin that are recorded, and we've got our they'll be recording in our LinkedIn, sorry, on the YouTube channel. The last session for Santosh is just rescheduled based on speakers availability. This is rescheduled for end of March. Just stay tuned if you have already registered for this session. And for this month, which is February, we've got 4 sessions. Today is I'm the speaker. I'm honored to be a speaker actually here. And for the next session, just keep in mind for Brian's session, it is not going to be happen on 8th of February, and we are just we are setting a new date for Brian. And just stay tuned for the new date, but it is not going to be happen on February 8th for sure. And but for the rest, we are still good. And yeah, for today, master the applied skills, implement a lakehouse in Microsoft Fabric. Don't you know what is them applied skills? We will just talk about them soon. And but in the meantime, we can just read some comments. Martin, hi. From Subu from Hyderabad. Yeah, welcome. And we also have Marine. Hello. Awesome, awesome, cool. So let me think we're still good with this screen. So let me just introduce myself again as a speaker, not as a community lead. I'm Microsoft Learn Expert, Mehrdad Abdollahi, Microsoft Learn Expert, Principal Data Architect. I've actually I have the honor to be the community lead at Microsoft Fabric Cafe for since its beginning, and with over 18 years in software and actually data industry. In the past actually decade, I focused more on data section, and yeah, I love data. So I'm based in Vancouver, Canada. I'm here with rainy day, and always a learner. The other thing that I can just add to my introduction, we've got the YouTube link, actually YouTube with the handler of Mehrdad Abdollahi 2024. It is my YouTube channel. It has been for a while, a bit quiet, but I promise it is going to be more active. And my LinkedIn page, if you would like to connect, feel free to scan this, QR code, or just find my name and let's say hi there. And my home is in Microsoft Fabric Cafe. Just knock on my door whenever you would like to chat. And for today's agenda, I don't have a big, actually, presentation, but it will be more hands-on on the, Microsoft Fabric itself. And so we will just have an introduction of the Microsoft credentials, then the Microsoft Fabric credentials, and then at the end we will just have hands-on applied skills, and we will just do it together. So if you have if you have the possibilities, we can do it together. Today's session is going to be mostly like a workshop, that I can share the files that I've got, and it's not a big file, but I can share the files somewhere. Like I'm gonna upload them in the meantime into my GitHub, and we'll share the link, and you can just take it from there. Or you can just rewatch the session and find those files from there. However, we will be more on Microsoft Fabric. But before jumping into the hands-on experience, let's talk about the Microsoft credentials. In the past, for a couple of years, Microsoft had the Microsoft certification that was, based on a technology or a basically a product, right, that Microsoft had, and it is basically role based for data engineers, for data analysts, for data for developers, even, right, for database administrators, and so on and so forth, right, and it is you know uh, very detailed on the skills, and you have to just take exam for getting those certifications, right, and you have to schedule them in advance, and then you have to pay for that, right. It is a there's a payment. It is not that cheap for sure, but as you know, in Microsoft Fabric Cafe, we are presenting 50% vouchers from time to time, based on the activities of the members, or sometimes we provide some riddles or something like that. And if you are in Vancouver, we will have an in-person session for sure, for maybe in March, and there we can hand over some you know uh, some vouchers. So we had the Microsoft certifications, but it was last year, I think, or the year before, the applied skills. Microsoft applied the skills just came in and changed the life for those who would like to follow a scenario based qualification, right. They would like to validate a specific skill, for example, from for just migrating SQL Server to a cloud version, right, to the SQL Azure SQL. It is going to be a project-based one. It is going to be a scenario-based, skills that they're gonna just define a scenario for you, define a project for you, and then you're gonna just implement that, in the lab, that is provided in that applied skills in Microsoft Learn website. It is There is no schedule for these applied skills. You can just open the lab and take your assessment. However, there are some restrictions. For example, if you take the applied skills and the assessment, I mean, and then you fail it for any reason, you only have you have to wait at least for 72 hours to retake it. So, but however, it is free. It is free, and you can just take it whatever time that you would like, and there will be a scoring at the end of that, based on how you achieved the actually, if you achieved the expectation of that assessment. As I mentioned, there's a scenario behind that. There's a project, and they are looking for a specific result or answer for each of those tasks that are going to be assigned to you as the you know the assessment taker. So it is very obvious. I don't want to waste the time. We can just look at that. On Yeah, we can just explore it together now. And about Microsoft Fabric credentials. Let's just take one step back. If you're very new to Microsoft, technologies for Microsoft, or even in the data industry, and you have no idea what's going on with Fabric or even any other data tools, data services in Azure, like Data Factory or Azure Synapse, or even Azure SQL, you have no idea what's happening, or you would like to learn more about them. And for example, you've been working with Fabric for a couple of months, and you have no idea about Azure Cosmos DB, for example. With Azure Data Fundamentals, you can just find out what's going on, right? And what services are available, and even what is the data, right? And how it is going to be used among a big software system, right? And so and there is an exam for that. It is DP 900 that is going to just validate your fundamentals skills of Azure data. It is not a prerequisite for the other credentials, but it is going to be a good start for you if you're very new. If you have some ideas about them, then we can move to the credentials, the actual credentials. As I mentioned, we have the certifications, and we also have the applied skills. For the certifications in Microsoft Fabric, we've got Fabric Analytics Engineer Associate that you have to pass the exam DP 600. And we also have a new certification that a few months ago was released by Microsoft, and which is Fabric Data Engineer Associate. It is basically for data engineering section of that. As you know, again, Microsoft Fabric has different, for different actually persona, data engineer, data analyst, data scientists, and so on and so forth, right? Even we can have admin for that, right? So it is not only for the data engineers, it is not only for the data analytics. And beside of these certifications, we've got applied skills, as I mentioned, right? We have the applied skills of implementing a real-time intelligence solution with Microsoft Fabric, implementing a data science and machine learning solutions with Microsoft Fabric, implement a data warehouse in Microsoft Fabric, and implement a lakehouse in Microsoft Fabric. That it is the applied skills that we are going to talk about. And let's see what are actually, what items are available for us here. So what I'm going to do, let's do it together. I'm going to share my screen, the other screen I'm in. Just give me a sec. Today I have to just shuffle between pages, and it is not that easy for being both speaker and host. But let's have some comments. Sahar, yeah, hi, thank you from Vancouver, welcome. Cool. Well, let me share my screen. If I can. My screen, entire screen off here. Awesome. Perfect. So now you've got my screen of Fabric portal, which is good. But in the meantime, I want to just show you Microsoft apply the skills, where you can find it, in the Microsoft Learn. And let's just how to find them. So in order to find the credentials that I was talking about, you can just go to the Microsoft Learn, learn.microsoft.com, and in the Discover section, you can go to the credentials. In the credentials, you can just browse all credentials, or even browse the applied skills. I will go to the applied skills, and in the bottom, if you don't know how to work with that, there's a credential type in the bottom that you can just choose for the applied skills or even the certifications. We're talking about the applied skills now. and we are interested in Microsoft Fabric one. As you can see, we've got four applied skills, and among them, I'm interested in implement a Lakehouse in Microsoft Fabric. And as you can see, there is the link for taking the assessment, right? The level is intermediate, and the roles are basically for the data engineers and a bit, tasks for data analysts, but mostly for the data engineers. What you're going to be assessed against is basically, we're gonna create and manage a lakehouse. You're gonna ingest and transforming the data. You're gonna query and exploring lakehouse data. And the tasks that are going to be given to you are, again, creating a data lakehouse. You're gonna ingest data. You're gonna transform that data to be ready for for your purpose of in, uh, of the analyzing. At the end of the day, we would like to analyze the data, right, in Fabric, and then some exploring the data and reporting on top of that, something like that. You're gonna be given some tasks during that assessment. But of course, Microsoft is providing you with the some preparation for that assessment, right? And here you can just find the learning path that Microsoft has prepared as a learning path for this implementing a lakehouse with Microsoft Fabric. Not all of these modules are necessarily talking about lakehouse, but some of them, for example, for the first one is some introduction to the Fabric itself, and then just talking about lakehouse, how to use the Apache Spark, and how to use the data lake tables, even delta tables, I mean, and how to utilize the gen actually data flow gen 2, and how to use the data factory for orchestrating the processes and data movement, and also the medallion architecture design. Once you're ready, you're gonna have an assessment of 2 hours. You're gonna have 2 hours to complete this assessment. So just some languages are available, and these languages are basically the tasks that are going to be assigned to you during this assessment. Just the comparison with certification. If you have taken one of the certifications in Microsoft, you're gonna be just tested for a specific question, right? And they're gonna just give you some multiple options or drag and drop whatever that you have. But in applied skills and the assessment in the lab, you're gonna do the actual work, right? It is a hands-on experience. I really like the applied skills because it is a real thing to do, right? It is based on a scenario that you're going to just create something. You're gonna make your hands dirty with the you know the tools that are provided in the Microsoft Fabric. Then yeah, that's it. Once you complete your assessment, you're gonna be scored, and you're gonna have your certification, and you can just share it with your network and showcase your skills. Cool. Let's talk less about. I think it is enough, for the introduction about this applied skills, and let's jump into the Microsoft Fabric itself. So we talked about some tasks, right? And we are basically talking about three sections. First of all, creating and managing a lake house, right? How are we going to create that? First of all, let's create a workspace here. And the workspace that I'm going to create, let's call it workspace uh, Fabric Cafe. Yeah, that's good. And let's apply the name. As I mentioned, you can also, create uh, your items, in the same time. I'm going to create a lake house. So let's call this lake house as retail store, for example, right? And a little store lake house, or for a better naming convention, lake house retail store. Oh, Uh, I just forgot to mention the lake house schema is also with the schema is also available. It is still in preview. That after creating that lake house with schema, you can see the schemas. Instead of this table, you're gonna have underneath of the tables. I mean, you're gonna have the schemas, and you can just uh, basically use that schema for categorizing your components in your lakehouse. So you can just start with a sample data or upload the files. I'm going to upload the files. The files that I've got here are the items that I have created for customer dates and orders and products. So the famous let me and we can just overwrite it if the files are already exist and all of them have been uploaded to my uh, file section. As you can see, they've been here as CSV files, and all of them are basically stored in my one lake, right, as raw data. All are CSV. We can have a look at their data, as CSV, but we're going to work on them, and we are going to just load them as tables. So let's just load them to the tables, and we can just call them as raw customers one, for example. And once we do that, once we load those, CSV files to be saved as a table, then we should expect them in the table section. Once it is completed, it is not completed yet. It's gonna take a bit time. Guys, feel free to ask any question that you've got regarding, whatever that we are discussing. But yeah, as you can see, our first table is created. It has a little sign in the bottom, which is showing this table type is delta table. What is delta table? Basically, it is a technique of storing the data, right? Behind this, what we've got behind this, the delta table is basically uh, the actual data is going to be stored as Parquet file. As you can see, the files behind this table, and we also have a delta log that log is going to that file is going to just log whatever changes that is going to be happen on this table, which is going to be read from top to the bottom, right, from the bottom to the top, right. And then you're gonna have a really much better performance, of course, to read and write the data into your delta log, actually the delta table, and your Parquet file. So let's just load the other file as well. It has the same process. We just call them as raw tables, and once your fabric is busy with the other delta loading, the item of load to table is basically disabled like this. Once it is done, it is going to be active. And let's say raw orders, and also the products. We are good with the products and dates. I don't want to uh, have any, you know, I don't want to have any, transformation on top of them. I'm good with them. And so let's have a look at the data again. These are small data sets that I've chosen for doing a POC, or, just having a, hands-on experience on them. Sorry. Cool. So we have customer one and customer two, and we have list of our products with the product category and a unit price and ID, and then we have the list of orders. Just let's imagine these data are coming from a a retail transactional database, right? That is basically have been exported somehow, and we have the data in Fabric to analyze them and prepare them for data analysis. And in our order table, we've got the order number, order ID. Let's say what customer has been assigned to this, what products have been purchased, what quantity of them, what was the total value of them, and then when the order was taken place, actually. Cool. In order to work on the data, in order to prepare it, we have different options, right? One option can be your, basically the data flow gen tool, and the other option can be the notebook. For now, I'm gonna just choose the notebook itself, right, to work with data, and let's see how we can interact with the data, with our data within the notebook. So about the environment of notebook, as you can see, in the left side, we've got our uh, sources. Even you can just upload your external files and data here as in the resources, or link your other lake houses, or any warehouse that you would like to connect to. And you can choose your environment, what environment, if you have set up your environment for the version of Spark, or which runtime you're choosing, and the medium, actually the size of your compute, how many nodes are required for your environment. And also you can choose your language that you are going to work with, whichever that you're comfortable with, and it is going to meet your requirements when you are completing a task. And some other normal for running and connecting stuffs, for editing, how you're gonna just work on the notebook. Cool. We want to just do some data transformation and data loading. Let me duplicate my Fabric, and let's open our Lakehouse quickly to just check our data in the same time, that we are doing our data transformation. The step number one for creating of Lakehouse is done. Let's just back to whatever that was part of our tasks. We have created a Lakehouse. We know where to find it. We have ingested data, the raw data, by uploading the files. There are a couple of other types of for ingesting data. You can just make a shortcut to an existing file in another lakehouse. We can do that quickly, but let me do it. Let me do it quickly, and on the same workspace. I just want to say Lakehouse. Here you can just find it. And let's say Lakehouse example for public holidays, or let's say uh, common data. Yeah, it's going to be used for everyone. And as you can see, Lakehouse schema again. I'm not going to choose it. It is still in preview. Of course, those stuffs that are in preview are not good option for using them in production, but we can all, of course, explore them. You can start your Lakehouse, as I mentioned, with the uploading file, or even with the sample data, right? With the sample data, it is going to add the sample data into your Lakehouse. It will be added as a table here shortly for the public holidays. And once the public holidays is ready, here, as you can see, the data is there, and you can just have a look at actually at preview your data. Once it is ready, we can just have a shortcut, quick shortcut to that, those public holidays, right? Here in my retail store, let's say I would like to just create a shortcut. Shortcut to what? You can have shortcut outside of Fabric to Amazon S3, or your data lake storage, your Dataverse even, and your Google Cloud storage, wherever that you have the data. But in this case, we are going to work on our common data lakehouse, and from there we're going to just choose it, next, and what table we would like to have the shortcut to. You can even choose the files, right? But at this stage, we are interested in public holidays, and the data is going to be, yes, it is going to be create. Actually, it is going to be created. It is successful, and let's just refresh our table list. And as you can see, we have the public holidays, but in the icon of that, you can see a little sign of uh, link or shortcut. That it means that it is a shortcut. And it is, the data, you can just choose your country or region, and then just find the public holidays, And of course, for the Lakehouse, in your Lakehouse, the SQL analytic endpoint is also available to just explore your data. You can just create a new query, or if you go to your tables, you can just say just select top 100 and execute it, right? And for example, you can just where country country or region equals to Canada. Let's say it is, if it is working. Yep, for the Canada, I've got these public holidays. Do we have these public holidays here? I don't think so. Cool. Let's back to our discussion. For the retailer store, we are doing some transformation of the data. So now we can just check what tables are available here for us to work with. Let's say we want to just prepare our customers' data into a production analytical solution. These are raw data. We have two tables. Let's say the customer one raw data actually is coming from source of our first retail store, and the other one is coming from somewhere else. And in the analytical solution, in a actually data management solution, we are not always reading the data from one source, right, in the real world. And we have to just gather all the data, and then just transform them, combine them, and clean our data, then push it as a final customer list, for example. Let's do it. I will just call it customer one equals to, I would say spark dot read dot, let's say the format is going to be my delta file that load, and the load is going to be from tables, what is it called, raw customer one. For now, I loaded my data in a data frame. This data frame can be shown as is, right? That we can just say show. In order to execute this code, you can either say shift enter, or you can just hit the play button, right? In this case, I'm just showing my data frame data, and let's see how it does look like. And as you know, we have access to the previous cells, the data frames, or whatever that we are working on. Oh, what's happening? Customer. Oh, I'm missing S. That's good. That we fail and we find the issue here. I do like the failure in the during the demo sessions. Where we are live. That shows everyone can encounter the issues, right? Everyone can face the issues like this, and we can just go down, read the error. It is saying past not found. Oh, what's going on? For example, this tables. The table is correct. We have the raw customer. Oh, I'm missing S. That's good. Then just rerun it. And when you see the Spark jobs in progress or succeeded, it means that your code looks good. And as you can see, it is just showing you as a table, right? The data that we were seeing there. Okay. We also have, customer two. Remember, just for saving time, I'm gonna just copy it and paste it here. And here I would say number two, and let's have a look at this data as well together. And we can just check them. I did not change it to two. It's going to show my second one. And as you can see, we have the customer IDs of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. As you can see, some of them have been duplicated here. In order to have a clean data, in order to have our final, production customer list, we are not interested in the duplicated data. Even if we do a union for these guys, let's say df customer one dot union of df customer two, and let's just have everything as customers, for example, right? df customer, and then df customer that show. Let's see how it does look like when we combine these guys by using union. As you guys know, union is just going to add the second list to the first list based on the similarity of the columns. And here, as you can see, we've got a list of customers, but as you see, 3, 4, 5 is duplicated here, and it doesn't look right for us. In between, we do say just drop duplicates. Easy, right? And then let's rerun it. And oh, it is not dropping the duplicates. Let's check. Let's do it like this. Yes, now it's correct. So after dropping a duplicate, it should be assigned to a new data frame, and that data frame can be shown here. Or, in the next step, we can just write that data. But before writing, I would like to have a column, for example, as full name. For example, here I have the first name and last name, right? Before doing that, I would say df equals to df dot with column. I'm gonna add having a derived column, right? That let's call it as full name, and then the value for that will be let's say concat. Let me just add it to my. Ah, I need some. Let me just check. PySpark.sql dot functions. From the functions, we can just choose concat. I remember from import. Yeah, import concat ws, for example. And here I can say concat ws, and what is going to be concatenated? I would say df, let's say first name, then df last name. Cool. I think it should look good. As you can see, now we have a new column which is called full name, right? Which is a concatenation of our first name and last name. We're good. It is showing 100% right, and we are confident to just write this, data frame to our delta table, right? And we can just save it. You can just save it as a table, or save it again. Here you can specify the tables and just say prod customers, and let's just execute this guy. Once it is executed, sorry, once it's executed, and as you can see, this succeeded, we can just find out in our list of tables, prod customers. Now you can just tell me if you're doing the same thing in the meantime. If not, if you have any question, feel free to add. But as I mentioned, it is mostly some sort of a workshop, right, that we are doing together. And yeah, we're good with this one. The next step for me is just working on the orders. Let's see how the orders look like, right? The raw orders that we have. It may look good, but let's see. We have the order date. The data type is taken as date. We are happy with that. We have the total, and the data type is double. Good, awesome. And from there, maybe we can find a unit price, for example, from this total to actually divided by the quantity, and we can just find out this product ID, how much it was the unit price in this order. Let's add it here. As you can see, we can just add the markdown. For example, let's say transfer uh, orders, right? And it is going to be something like this, in order to comment it. Or if you would like to, just comment on here, you can, I just executed it twice. Oh, one thing that is very important, if you are going to actually uh, re-execute a code and you encounter an issue like this, right? It says cannot write to already existing path node on this table. So in this case, we need to just say dot mode as overwrite. It is going to overwrite the data, and then after this execution, it should be good. Yeah, it is in progress, and then it is going to be executed 100% with no problem. So in order to transform the data, the same story. I'm going to I'm going to just get my data in like this. Just for saving time, I'm gonna copy it and read the data from raw orders, and let's call it as orders. Let's have a look at this data. The data is showing like this, and then what was that? Yeah, data. Yeah, here I want to add a new column, and here we can just say orders equal to the let's say order product. Let's say product unit price on this order, of course. And then let's check if I have no idea about the division, but let's see. I can just have a look at this guy and check. Okay, and okay, yeah, simple. Yeah, that's fine. So in order to having a actually division, we need to add some sort of libraries here. For example, for the PySpark, we're gonna add SQL. Then let's say import SQL function. We will add nothing. Maybe the column could be a good thing, but we will just try two sections, right? To separate two different methods of this. What we're doing, yeah, for this one, let me just bring it in the bottom, and here we can say data frame orders. What column? The column is total divided by data frame orders, the column of quantity. And let's orders.show. Let's see if it is working. And it is not complaining. Oh, awesome. So it is the unit price for this item, for example, for in the order one, the product ID of 104, this divided by 5 is going to be something like this. Interesting. And once we're happy with that, we can just write this back to a table like this, right? Let's just copy it. Connect and collaboration server. Oh, what's happening? We just reconnect it. And then we will, for the orders, it's gonna write in the mode of overwrite the delta format. And then here we can just say orders, right? And the data should be now available in our table list. So we're good. We have our prod orders. We have our prod customers. We can have just have a look at our prod orders data and prod customers, as well as we've got the data for products. It is the data that we just transformed and the derived column like this, product unit price. Of course, we have some product unit price in the product table, right? But it is maybe not necessarily the actual data for that unit price. Maybe in one order that there was a discount or something like that. But the unit price in the product table, maybe it is the normal and standard one. Cool. Let's back to our applied skills. We have ingested data and we have transformed the data. So the third task is also text. So we will going to just having some exploring on our data. And here, as you can see, we've got the SQL analytics endpoints that we can just choose and create some scripts on top of the tables that we have created, right? And here, for example, we can create a view on top of that, right? And that view will be useful for our data analytics purposes. For example, let's say select from this Lakehouse retail store.dbo, the schema, the default schema that we have, and from orders, right? And we can have an alias of O, and let's say, let's firstly see what columns are available. You can just, of course, say top 10, top 100 instead of select everything, but I'm interested in this one. And here, for example, we want to say I want to check, for example, for customers, the sales for a customer, right? The total sale for a specific customer, and I want the full name of that customer in my result. I'm gonna just join it to my customer. Let's say dbo.prod customers. Here, we can just remove our Lakehouse name. And here we can just say C on O dot customer ID equals to C dot customer ID. And then instead of star, now I can say O dot, let's say total. Then, and instead of the customer ID, in this case, I would say the full name that we have created previously. And then just let's run it. It's going to show the customer name and the total, but it is not per customer, right? And now here we can just say group by c dot full name, and instead of this we will say sum of total, and we can just say total sale, for example. Now we've got the full name and total sale, and we can just create a view on top of this, and let's say dbo dot sales per customer, or total sales per customer, as this, and then we will have a view in our DBS schema as this. Then we can just, instead of writing all of those scripts, we can have this view on top of that. Easy, right? Yeah, we have just worked on that. It was one example. That's how we can utilize the items in our data model, but they are not in relationship together, right? If we want to create reports on top of them, it is not going to be the Power BI report. I mean, it is not going to be detected by its own. But what we are going to do, we are going to just optimize it by just defining some relationships between these tables. Right now we know we have the products, we have the customers, we have the orders, we have the date, right? And somehow these guys are connected together. So in order to manage the relationship, now I'm in the default semantic model that we have our data model. Then we have our data tables. All the tables are here, but no relationship between them. In order to define the relationship, we can just click on one of these guys, right? And just select manage relationship. And you're gonna create a new relationship. For example, it's gonna be from customers to orders. It is going to be detected by itself, right? Based on the similarity of the names, customer ID, customer ID. However, you can choose whatever that you want, right? That you feel, hey, customer ID is not the right option for here, but I'm gonna choose another one. And in the bottom, you can just choose your cardinality. That's how the data is linked to your second table. From customer to orders, it is, of course, one to many. For one customer, you have many or nothing or many orders. So we're good. No, we're not good. It says many to one, but it should be one to many. And from the left, it is going to be from to your target table. And let's just save this guy. And here even you can see orders, customers, one to many. And from the other thing, from products to orders, again, it is detected because of the good naming. It is very important when you are creating your data model. One of the important thing is the naming convention, that you are choosing the right names, that are going to be identical, right? That you can just quickly find, hey, product ID is something that is going to be linked out to my product list. And here again, one to many. And save it. Let's create another relationship between dates and my orders. So as you can see, nothing is detected because my date, there is no actually similar names, right? And here I know the order date is like this. And of course, it is going to, again, one-to-many. And yeah, that's it. I'm good with the relationships now. And let's close it. As you can see, the relationships just are visible now. We can always create the reports on top of that, right? Let's have some reports, or even you can create a new semantic model, based on another scenario. You only want to have specific tables on your semantic models based on the different, scenarios that you're going to analyze. But let's have a new report. And the tables are going to include whatever that you have in your default semantic model, and that's good. And you also have your view. As you can see, its icon is a bit different, that you have the total sales per customer. Interesting, right? And even this table also can be, this view can be a part of your relationships, but we haven't done it. Cool. We have just created a new report, and in this new report, we can, let's say, I want to put a bar chart, or yeah, this bar chart is good, right? And in this bar chart, I would say per customer full name, for example. Then no, the customer is not a good option. I would like to choose the category of product, and then where's my prod? The total of the prod itself. And as you can see, we can see the the total sales by category, right? And it can be our first widget. And even you can just having some filtering on top of that. For example, for the category that you're only interested in, grocery and clothing, for example, and only these guys are going to be shown here, right? Or you can even add another item for the year. I would like to have something like line charts. For this one, let's add date of month, right? Month of the date, and then having the count of orders, right? If it is going to be, let me just check. Even I'm not sure if my connection is looking good for the order date and this date, but if not, let's have the full name of our customers, right? That have purchased the goods, right? But here it is not, there is no filtering on the products, and it is all about the employee itself. Cool. I think we're good. We can just save our report. Let's just call it sales report in 2025, for example. And we can just choose our destination where we are going to store it, right? Are we going to put it in a specific folder, or you want it to be saved in another workspace. But we are working on the Fabric Cafe workspace, and then save it. Cool. We have explored the data. We have analyzed our data. I know it is not that complex, scenarios, but you can just, expand it to more complex scenarios when you're working with your, data sets. And the other thing in the notebook, let's just jump back to the notebook, the naming of that, if you would like to change its name, you can just save a duplicated version or even download it and then import it later to work on. Or even you can change its name, let's say transfer retail data, for example, retail data. And you can just add in some description on top of that. Cool. And if we go back to our workspace, now we can see the items that we have available, the items that we have created. Just let's have a quick review on what we have done. The Lakehouse of the common data. That was our public holidays, the retail store of the data. That we have done all of our data transformation, data ingestion, and then we used a notebook for transforming our data and exploring our data using the SQL analytics and endpoints to create a view on top of that. And at the end, we just saw our data in our reports. Of course, in a company, when you are working on the real projects, you are not going to, for example, maybe you do, but in the, more structured companies, you are not going to work on both reports and data engineering section of the data solution. You may be only interested in the data engineering because, in the real world, we have the bigger projects, right? And we may need more than one data engineer working on the single project, right? And you have to just collaborate with your team and just even sometimes develop on others, notebooks that they have created on that, workspace. So yeah, I hope this demo was useful for you guys and you liked it. But what else? What else? Here I can add. Nothing else at this stage. Let me just go back to my other screen and my slides. So if there's any question, feel free to add it to the chat. If not, I can just move to my slides. So we have done it together. Thanks everyone for accompanying me in this journey for to apply the skills of implementing a lakehouse in Microsoft Fabric. So here again, let's connect. Here is my LinkedIn page. The QR code is going to be landed there, and my YouTube channel, Mehrdad Abdollahi 2024, and you can always knock my door on Microsoft Fabric Cafe. Today's session is almost done. I see some questions. I will get back to them. Just stay tuned for next sessions that will be just announced for Brian. I mentioned that the date for Brian's session is going to be changed. It is not going to be happen on February 8th, but the rest are good now. And thanks for attending. And you can just rewatch this video or just share it with your friends on our YouTube channel with handler of @Microsoft Fabric Cafe, and you can just follow us on a LinkedIn page, Microsoft Fabric Cafe. The QR code is going to be landed there, and of course you can just join the learning room of Microsoft Fabric Cafe, and then we can have chat more. So let's back to the question. There is a question. What are some architectural best practices when creating workspaces and lakehouses, such as by departments, teams, brown, silver, gold layers, the UAT prod? Interesting question. Yeah. You know, basically, the best architecture is going to be defined by, your company where you're working at. But there are some, best practices in the industry that when you are creating your workspace, of course, the workspace is going to be based on the departments or the scenarios that we're gonna have. I personally prefer the departments, right? When we are dividing the workspaces. Uh, and of course, there are some common area, like, in our, presentation, I created a common data, right? A common area. Some data can be used, by all the departments, like customer list or employee list or dates or org structure, whatever that we are talking about. It can be used by them, so we can have a workspace for everyone, and then a workspace based on the team, or how big your team is. For example, maybe in the department of marketing, you're gonna have 2, 3 teams in different regions. So each of them may need a workspace, and the items are going to be grown. When you have a busy workspace, a busy folders, it is not going to be that easy for managing them. And of course, for the environments like dev, UAT, and prod that you mentioned, we need different workspaces, or even different let's say different layers even, right? And but I would prefer the workspaces just to deploy my changes to a new workspace, or to a new layer. But yeah, it really all depending on the structure of your company, and how you're gonna work on that. I hope it answers your question, Dan. If there is no more question, we can wrap up the session. We actually ran 20 minutes of time. It is 8:20 in my side. And thanks everyone for joining. Stay tuned for our next sessions. And if you're in Vancouver, just stay tuned for our very first actually, in-person session event in Vancouver. But that session, of course, is going to be a hybrid one, in person and online. You can just join and ask your questions if you have any. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. And just let me know if you have any concern, if you have any suggestion to improve our, sessions quality. And yeah, that's it. And we can just wrap it off. And yeah, just hoping and wishing actually a good weekend for you guys. Have a good one. Cheers. Bye bye.